we're going to take a look at another simulation tool that we have with NX. Now, I know that you guys saw my webinar on SimCenter 3D, no PhD, no problem. That would be if we went to Application and then we launched Pre and Post. That would take us right into SimCenter 3D. There's another tool that we have. It's called Design Simulation. So it's this More and Design Simulation. And this is going to allow me to run a simulation and maybe just a little bit scaled down from SimCenter 3D. So I'm going to go ahead and create my new parts. And just to show, the solver is this NX Design Simulation. And I can go with structural or thermal. And just to show, there's a couple of other different ones, different solutions we can use. So we'll just create the solution. And I'm going to leave all of this alone. We'll just go with the base. So first things first, I want to assign my materials. We'll make this part steel. And then it comes time to mesh. Now this is where we get a little bit different from SimCenter 3D. And that is that here's my meshing tools. There's only a couple of them. And then right next to that are my loads and conditions. Now when we look at SimCenter 3D, which I'm going to bring in right now, this is all meshing to start with. And then when I switch into the simulation model, well then it's all about the loads and boundary conditions. So you can see with the design simulation, it's just a scaled down version. But let's mesh. I'm going to run a 3D TET on my part. Can use this automatic size. I always like to get to a round number, so I'll just go with 4 millimeters. Now my part, it's meshed. From here, we're going to add our load. I'm going to go with a force. It's going to be on this top surface. We're going to make it 10,000 newtons. Whoops, that's 100,000. 10,000 newtons. And I'm just going to put it off of this surface. From here, we're going to put some boundary conditions. I'm going to use a fixed constraint. And on this specific model, we had it where it was welded to the frame. So that entire piece was welded, and as well as this top part of the finger, that was welded. And then on the back side of this, we actually had where the bolts, those bolt heads are. So I'm going to just put a fixed constraint for each one of those points. Now that I've got that, I'm just going to click to solve. And it should go pretty quick. You'll notice that it is SimCenter Nastran that's doing the solving. And it's already done. That's nice. So we don't need to view any of the messages. We'll cancel and close. And then we're simply going to look at the results. So the first thing I always like to look at is the displacement. So we can see there's very little displacement there at all. Then look at the stress. I'm going to go ahead and just play so I can see. And of course, this is an exaggeration. The nice thing is, with this tool, I'm able to turn off that exaggeration as well. So then I can see the type of pressure, the type of stress that this part has. And there's a couple other different tests that we can run. There's some other things where we can change from contour to the ISO lines, or some additional features. But as we mentioned, this is scaled back a little bit from what we would have in SimCenter 3D. However, it's going to give you good results. And so that's what we wanted to highlight with this brief video highlighting design simulation.